so I'll stop it there. Now, let's start the class, okay? We're just doing 3 things, as I said before. We're going to review the facts and skills and technique of OET Part C, Reading Part C. 8 practice questions, and then analyze the answers. So it's a little bit like what we did yesterday, all right? So let's just start off with the facts. How many questions are there in OET Reading Part C? And I'm going to ask someone like Sonia. Could you tell us?
In Part C, I think it's 12.
Is it 12 in total?
6.
16.
16. How many for each text?
Each text
8.
Yeah, I think so. 8 for each text. And how many texts?
2.
2 texts.
2 texts.
Okay. How many multiple choice options do you get? Is it A,
4.
B, C?
D.
4.
4. D.
So you get 4 multiple choice options. Okay. I'm not going to go too much more into the facts, but just quickly, how much time do you get to do this?
90 seconds.
90 seconds?
I don't know.
To do 8 really difficult reading questions.
I usually don't care about time because I always in rush to answer.
Well, one of the key things, just like with
35
writing,
minutes. I think 35 minutes for Part C and yeah,
B together.
B together.
I think it's, 45. Now, start to think about now how long you want to spend on each question. All right? It depends. But just do the maths yourself. I think it's about 45 minutes. Okay? I'm not going to go into that too much today, but start to think yourself. How much time for each question?
30 seconds.
Well, not necessarily, actually. But the main thing is, don't make the mistake of one of my old students called Andrea. Filipino, very, very good. Amazing writing. She got a B in writing 2 times, but she failed reading 2 times. One of the reasons was she didn't complete all the questions. Come on, you've got to answer all the questions. Give yourself the best chance, okay? So that means start to think about time. All right, but anyway, I'm not doing that today. Today we're going to just do some practice. So quickly, yesterday we talked about skills, right? We were talking about listening skills. Do you remember? Guys, yeah?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so Ushani, what was the listening skill that we practiced yesterday? You remember? Oh, she doesn't.
No,
Can anyone tell me?
Synonyms.
We were doing synonyms, but think about the skill. Was it specific listening?
Specific.
Or was it general listening?
Detail.
Detailed listening.
Were we listening for detail? Yes, we were. Good. Now, what about reading? Reading's the same kind of idea. You need to think about the skill. Are we reading for specific words? In part B, part C, sorry.
Yeah, the main context they are going in detail.
We're not reading for specific words. No. Right? Come on, guys. What are we reading for? Part A.
The whole meaning. Sometimes keyword.
Okay. Part A. Specific words. So it's like this, right? Part B. It's more general.
Yeah.
Part C is even bigger, right? So if you start trying to look for specific words, you're not going to get a good grade. Okay, that's not the skill they're testing. They're testing general comprehension, really. Or let me just say this: understanding a large piece of text as a whole.
Gist
Right?
of the test.
Yeah, it's a bit like gist. So, I always give the same examples. Do you remember the example I gave for listening? Do I like the movie? Do you remember that example? All right, someone asked me. Someone say to me, do you like the movie? Someone say.
Do you like
the movie?
Do you like
Right.
it?
Now imagine I say this. It was very long, and the actors were not very convincing, And the cinema ticket was very expensive. Do I like the movie?
No.
Are you in delusion?
Yeah.
What you're doing?
I don't know. but the main point is, obviously, it's the same idea, isn't it? Like you need to understand as a whole what I'm saying. It's not a specific word. You take all my things together, you put them into your head, and you go, you know what? Alan doesn't like the movie. All right? You guys do this all the time as nurses, okay? Same idea here. Understanding a large piece of text as a whole.
Sir, your
Okay,
voice is
microphone.
echoing, sir.
Yeah, because someone's got their microphone on. Can you just turn that off, please? Yeah. Piece of text as a whole. All right. Now, I've updated my technique. I'm going to give you 2 techniques today. All right, and we're going to practice them. Now, I know there are different reading techniques. You don't have to do this one if you have a better one. But this is one recommended by OET. Because when I did my training, my OET training, this is what they made me do. Okay? So the first thing we're going to do, what do I mean by technique, actually? Ayesha? Joshna? What does
Hello.
technique mean?
Technique is a trick or any
Kind of trick, but
It's same as a skill.
kind of like a
skill.
well, skill
Yeah.
is more like
No?
a skill is like what you're trying to do, but this is
Oh,
how
yeah.
to do
How
it.
to find answer.
Yeah, right? The skill is what. This is how to do it, okay?
Yes.
So I want you guys to write this down in a second, okay? Before we start practicing. But there's some missing words here, aren't there? So let me ask a random person. Novi, are you there?
Yeah.
What's the missing word here? Step 1, read the
Question first.
First.
Novi?
Question.
Question. What do we
read
mean
the-
by question? What do we mean by that specifically? All of
Context
this?
question. Context.
Just
No.
Novi, just Novi for this one. Do we mean all of those here, Novi?
No,
No.
just the
this.
just
Yeah.
Yes.
there you
All
go.
right, and then
Yeah.
don't read the what, Novi?
The answer
Options A, B, C.
and options.
Yet. Okay. So that's a big mistake that people make. They think that they're searching for keywords. They think that they are doing specific reading, but it's not. It's general reading. So you need to focus on this. Okay. Step 2, we're going to change this into a question in your mind. What do I mean by that? Let me ask that question to Tinsy. I hope you have a good connection. Or Sujith. Sujith?
Yes, sir.
We need to change this into a simple question in our mind. What can we do?
Paragraph. What does the phrase?
I mean,
Synonyms. Using synonym?
well, is
No.
it a question already?
Yes.
Yeah. But do I need this? Do I need to say in the first paragraph?
No.
No.
It's better to understand.
So the reason is, guys, I need to keep this in my mind, right? I need to remember this. Okay? So it needs to be simple. What's the question? What does
the phrase 3 difficulties refers
These
to?
difficulties.
these difficulties,
Difficulty.
right? In fact, I'm going to make it so simple, it doesn't even have to have good grammar. There's no grammar. What these difficulties, okay? That's our question. All right? What is step 3, Sujith?
Read the paragraph designated and try to think about the question.
What paragraph is designated here?
Paragraph
First.
1.
Right, the first
First
paragraph, okay? So what I'm trying to say is you've got to read the paragraph and think about the question at the same time. Does that make sense, people?
Yes.
So you're
Yeah.
reading, read, and then you go, what these difficulties mean, right?
Difficulty.
Read, what these difficulties mean, right? So you're going backwards and forth between the reading and the question in your mind. So what do we need to do? We need to try to remember this, okay? and we'll practice this in a minute. What do we do as step 4, please, Joshna? Not case notes, sorry.
Select the appropriate options.
Option, right? So now I'm going to do this as step 4. A, B, C, or D. Okay? What do I do, though, Joshna, if I'm not sure?
We can eliminate 2 unrelated options.
So maybe I'll go, okay, well, I'm not sure, but I'm going to eliminate this one. Yeah? It can be 2 or 3 or something like that, or whatever, but I eliminate, let's say 2, okay? What do I do next, Joshna?
Sir, actually, we need to first read all the 4 options. In that, 2 will be unrelated. That we have to eliminate. Then rest of the 2 we have to.
When I say select the appropriate option, that means you must read all the options.
Yeah,
okay?
read all the options. Yes.
But I'm just assuming that that's obvious to me. There's no way you can select the option without reading them. Okay.
Yes. Yes. Sir.
Okay. So, but if you're not sure, we're going to eliminate the answers. What does eliminate mean?
Delete.
Remove.
Delete.
Yeah.
Remove.
If possible, you might not be able to do it, so don't force it, okay? But then, Joshna, I think you need to go back to the text, don't you?
Yes. Yes. Sir.
Read again.
Yes.
This is where I think we need to use keywords, right? So what's a keyword, Joshna?
3. These difficulties.
Right, here. But I'm thinking of keywords here, right? I'm trying to check.
Suitable, related, and non-related to me.
All right, so I've eliminated 2, and now I'm going to choose a keyword. Look at C, Joshna. What are the keywords in C?
Finding suitable donor, related or non-related donor.
We need, when we choose keywords, guys, we need something original that's not going to be repeated lots of times in the text. Not finding, right? What's a keyword? Everyone?
Finding
Related
and,
or non-related donor.
non-related
I would
donor.
say it's this, yeah? So now I'm going to go back to the text and I'm going to look for synonyms of this one. Okay? So again, I'm going to give you 30 seconds. Just write this down. Write it down because we're going to practice it now. Some of you might do it a different way. Why don't you try my way today? You might find it easier. Okay? So 30 seconds, just write down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or take a picture. Take a picture or you can write it down. It will also be on the study document. Okay, I'm just going to take a little screenshot as well. All right, I'll give you a minute. Just focus on this. We're going to be practicing this now, okay? Oh, someone's got their microphone on. If you just turn it off, please. Okay, 5 more seconds.
Camera.
I'll just mute you there, whoever that is. Who is that? Okay, so that's Francesca. You just got your mic on there. Okay, so that was 1 minute. We're going to move on, okay? And now, there is a second technique, but I'm not going to talk about that yet, all right? We'll talk about that later. You will see why. It will become very, very clear, all right? So, here is, we're going to now do some reading, okay? So is everyone ready to start doing the practice?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes. Yeah.
We've done this.
Oh,
Yeah? We're going to do this. Come on, guys. Give me a bit of energy. We need to start thinking now. Are you ready to start reading? Yeah?
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Yes. That's it. Get annoyed. Get annoyed. All right. Get angry with OET. Not me, though. Okay? Right. Now, usually, obviously, you're going to, in your exam, what you'll be doing is going duh, 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 duh. Yeah? Does everyone agree? That's what you do?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, let's do the technique that we said we would do. So the first technique is to, what are we going to do first, everyone? We're going to read, Novi, we're going to read
Question.
Question.
Read the question first.
just that, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. And then what's step 2, Sujith? Do you remember step 2?
Change this into question in your mind.
The question is
Yeah.
something like, what ... these difficulties? Yeah? What does it mean?
Yes.
That's not good grammar, but it's easy to remember, isn't it? All
Yes.
right. Now what do we do, guys?
Go back to paragraph and read the
Paragraph one.
paragraph.
We're going to go back, aren't we? We're not going to look here. We're ignoring that. We're just going to go here, and we know it's paragraph 1, so it's here. All right. And also, this type of question is an easier question because we already know, we can already see it here. Yeah? But where are we going to start reading, everyone?
From the start.
I would
A
read,
little
I would try
before.
to read like a lot. Remember, it's
Yeah.
general reading. General. Okay? So we're going to read all of this, but we're going to also be thinking about the question. Okay? So let me show you how this works. So I'm going to get someone to read this out for us. So Francesca, could you put your microphone on? I think it's on, actually. Could you read this for us? Is that okay? I know there's some crazy words here.
Hey, Francisca.
Can you speak? No?
Francisca,
Yes,
you
Francesca?
want me to read it?
Yes, please.
Okay. Allogenic hematopoietic stem cell
know.
transplantation.
Yep. I know it's hard. It's really hard.
Transplantation is a curative therapy for many malignant and non-malignant conditions, including leukemia, bone marrow failure syndromes.
Okay, stop there. Stop there. What's the question, everyone? What
These difficult
does this mean, right? Try to keep that in your mind as you're reading. Now,
Okay.
right? So we're moving between, we're always thinking about the question. Okay, Francesca, continue.
immunodeficiency and inborn error of metabolism. Unfortunately, only 30% of patients in need of HSCT.
Stop there. Sujith, what's the question again?
These difficulties.
What does Sujith, what does these difficulties mean? Okay.
These difficulty means
Keep it in your mind. Francesca, go.
Will find a suitable match-related donor. The only option for other patients is to search for an unrelated volunteer donor.
Okay.
Over the past decade, these difficulties have led to
What's the question again?
blood.
Everyone,
These
the question,
difficulties.
what does it
these
mean?
difficulties.
Okay, we're going to carry on, but does anyone have any ideas?
Search for an only
Yeah, they're
related
talking about the volunteer.
The search, maybe the search.
Voluntary donor.
Suitable match related donor.
Search for unrelated volunteer
It could be
donors.
that. Okay. Also, look, unfortunately, only 30% of patients in need of.
Needed
Right.
allogenic.
So only 30% of people find a donor. Is that true? Wow.
No.
Okay. So now, sometimes they try to trick you. So you have to read a bit more. I know maybe you already have the answer, but let's read a bit more. So Francesca, can you continue?
All right. These difficulties have led to umbilical cord blood, UCB, being increasingly used as an alternative source of stem cell for HSCT in patients who do not have a matched bone marrow or blood donor.
Again, what's the question?
These difficulties.
What does these difficulties mean? What does
Match bone marrow. Match bone
try and
marrow.
keep it in your mind. You get this idea, right?
Match donor. Match
Good.
bone marrow.
Let's do one more sentence, Francesca.
Okay, over 7,000 UCB transplants have now been performed worldwide, with more than 150 pediatric UCB transplants performed in Australia alone.
Okay, stop there. I think we've had enough, right? Let's see. Let's see. But I'm just trying to give you this idea, right? That you're reading and thinking about the question at the same time. I know it's not easy, but if you can do that skill, it's going to help you so much. All right. So let's go back to this now. We didn't read this, did we? A, B, C, D. Now let's read them and decide on the choice. What do you think is the answer? We're not going to look at the text. We're just going to look here. In the first paragraph, what does the phrase "these difficulties" refer to? A, discovering cures for malignant and benign conditions.
No.
Between bone marrow and UCB treatments.
No.
Yes.
Finding a suitably related or non-related donor.
Yes.
Low numbers of both family and volunteer donors?
Yes.
C.
No,
No.
maybe.
C.
Can you all say,
C.
most
C.
people are saying C.
C. Yeah.
C.
And you know what?
Because
answer
keywords
is
non-related donor.
Donor.
C. The answer is C, right? Notice how you didn't need to read the text again. That was lovely, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
Sometimes, if you do this right, you won't need to read the text again. Sometimes, if it goes well, you will know the answer. But remember, Joshna, what did we say? Imagine we're not sure. What do we do if we're not sure?
Elimination.
We have to again go back to the text and read it.
Yeah, first off, we would eliminate, right?
Yeah,
Maybe
first
one.
we-
So maybe we say, oh, this one, it's definitely not this. I don't know the answer, but it's not A, okay? Then I would choose keywords. So Joshna, give me the keywords for, imagine I think, oh, maybe it's C, maybe. I've got a feeling like maybe it's C. What's the keywords here?
Non-related donor.
Maybe that, maybe the word suitable as well, yeah? Okay, and then I would go and check in the text again. But I would look for those specific words, okay? That is the technique. Let's try it again, all right? So we're going to start with this one. The answer is C here. Well done, everyone who got C. Let's try number 2. What are we going to do first, please, Ushani? First we will...
First, we have to read the question.
All right, can you read that for us?
The first paragraph, we are told that the author's main argument will be that.
Okay, now how can we turn that into a question? What?
What is
Author main argument.
It's the main
Can
argument.
anyone?
Argument of the
What is the main argument? Or look at the question though. What? Is it
Author's main.
What about this?
Main argument will be.
Oh yeah, will be.
that
So is it is or future or past? Was?
What will be?
future?
What will the
What is
main?
the main argument?
Okay, so that's the question we're going to keep in our heads. Now, Sujith, are we going to read this now?
No, sir. Go
No,
to the
we're going to
paragraph.
go straight to the text. And Sujith, one more time. What's the question? What will the authors...
What will be the argument?
What will be the main argument?
For the author, yeah? What will be the argument for the main author, okay?
Argument.
And we know that it'll be somewhere here now because it's not going to be behind, I don't think. I've never had that confirmed, but it should be here, right? So again, we're going to read the whole thing, but we're going to keep in our mind the answer. So, who's a good reader? Francesca, you were very good there. Let's try Shiromi, maybe, if she doesn't mind. Maybe I'm terrifying her by saying her name. Shiromi? All right, Matt, Remy, one of you guys, can you read for me, please?
Okay, I'll read it.
Go on. Yeah, thank you.
Source of stem cells for HSCT in patients who do not have a matched bone marrow or blood donor.
Stop there, guys. What's the question? What will
Be the main argument.
What will be the
author's-
argument?
What is the argument of the author?
Yeah, what will be the argument of the author? Okay, continue, please.
Okay. Over 7,000 UCB transplants have now been performed worldwide, with more than 150 pediatric UCB transplants performed in Australia alone.
Again, everyone, what will be?
What will be
What will be the
author's main
argument?
argument?
Good, continue.
Successful UCB transplant program have led to the establishment of 2 types of UCB banks, public banks and for-profit private banks.
Again, guys, what's the question? What?
What will be author's
argument?
argument?
Okay, continue.
In the case of Australia, I argue that there is adequate social and medical justification for public UCB bank.
Okay. Now, what's the question again, guys?
What will be the
Author's
author's
argument.
argument?
This seems important, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
But let's continue because look, however, can you continue?
However, because based on current knowledge of the therapeutic use of UCB stem cells, private UCB banking is not
Okay. Thank you very, very much. Now, before I look at the options, I am going to just think, what will be the argument? Well, it seems like there's argue here. Can anyone tell me what will be the
That's
argument of the author, the person who is writing?
It's unjustified.
Question of
Practical use of UCB
Private.
stem cells.
What does it mean to
about the banks.
yeah,
Public
public banks, are they justified?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does justified mean, Sonia? Justified?
I think it's approved or it's
Yeah,
been
approved.
accepted or something.
It's a good idea. It's a good idea. However, based on current knowledge of the therapeutic uses of UCB stem cell, private UC banking is not similarly
It's
justified.
There is public and private use.
So which one is not a good idea?
The private
So
UC.
private is not
All right. All right. So now we're going to go and we're going to choose our options. Hopefully, we won't need to go back to the text.
Yes.
Let's see. In the first paragraph, we're told that the author's main argument will be that private UC banks have more social value than public banks.
wrong.
Both private and public banks have a beneficial role in society.
No.
Advances in stem cell therapies will impact private and blah, blah, blah.
Public.
No.
Yes.
Public UC banks have a valid purpose, but not private banks.
Yes.
D.
Private, yeah.
What do we all think?
B. D.
D.
Does everyone agree it's D?
D.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Good. It is D. Well done. Now let's just be clear about where the answer was there, right? Let's just be clear, because I did that quite fast. The answer is, or is it in one sentence?
2.
It's over more than one sentence, isn't it? It's like
3.
Can you guys draw on the screen? Where is the actual answer given? It's not just one sentence. It's not here, right? That doesn't give you the answer. It's all of this. Yeah, it's all of that. Good. Right? Because this is general reading. Okay, good. And I'm glad that everyone got that so quickly. Good stuff. Now, let's go and try the next one. Okay? So I'm going to get rid of this. Oops. Clear. And I might move us on slightly because how are we doing for time? Yeah, we're not going to do 3. We're going to do 4, right? Because 4 is very important. I just want to make a point. I'm not talking about this today, but you see these ones, guys? What are these? Special.
Lexical type.
Yeah, Joshna, Sonia, Remy, you guys know this kind of stuff, right? This is called a reference question. And this one's called a lexical. That just means vocabulary. Rebecca Bush said to me, do these first. Okay? So here's a little tip. I'll put it here. Do these first.
This is so hard, this vocabulary.
Yeah. I know, but she says that they're usually easier, but I don't know if that's true all the time. Anyway, right, we're going to go now to this one because this one is different. For this one, we can't use technique 1. We're going to have to use technique 2. All right, microphones off, guys. Microphones off for a second. Microphones off. Someone's got it on. I'll just tell that person so they know because they probably don't realize. The person with the microphone on is Anjali. If you can just mute it, Anjali. Shall I do it? I'll do it for you. Okay. Now, what's the difference between this? Can anyone notice there's a problem with this one? It's not the same as the one we did before. Can anyone tell me why?
It's a suggestion.
Someone said something true, but someone said something about paragraph. Who said that? Paragraph.
Francisca, no reference to paragraph. Usually they tell us in paragraph 1 or in paragraph 2.
Exactly. Now, unfortunately, OET have started to do this more and more. They don't tell you the paragraph, right? Sometimes they will, sometimes they won't. So we need a slightly different technique. And here is my technique. It's dead simple. I've put the extra bit in red. There's not 5 steps for technique 2. There is 6. What is the extra step, Remy? Remy, if you're there.
Use the keywords to identify the correct paragraph.
Thank you, Anna. Right. Remy, are you there if I chat to you? All right, well, I'll ask Anna then. So, Anna,
yes.
Are there any other differences here? Or is it exactly the same?
Some difference.
Apart from this one?
No, it's not.
It's not, right? So it's just this extra step. Is everyone clear on that? Microphones off for people with crockery, with plates. Victoria, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Are you happy with this?
Yes.
Okay,
We
so if
find
we
out
go
the
down,
keywords.
yeah, okay, go on.
We need to
So
find
obviously,
out the keyword to the related paragraph.
yeah, because we don't know the paragraph, we have to have this extra thing, don't we? Then we do the same thing. We change the question in our mind, right? Then we read the paragraph. It's not designated though. It's found, right? Then we select case notes. If we're not sure, we eliminate, etc. All right, let's try it. So, Victoria, we're going to do it with number 4, okay?
Okay.
So one more time. What do we need to do first?
Read
Read that. Can you read it for us, Victoria?
The author suggests the public USB bank in Australia.
Okay. So now I need to find the paragraph because I'm not sure which paragraph to look in. So I need some key words. Can anyone? You're all welcome to put on your microphones now and shout out. What's a good key word here?
Suggest
big banks.
Australia.
Suggest is never a good keyword because there's so many different synonyms for suggests.
Okay.
You will probably never find it. It's going to be something like Australia, maybe.
Certificate paragraph.
Public
Well,
use.
no, look.
The two types of UCB banks.
If we choose UCB, yeah, guys. If we choose UCB, we will never find it. We'll never find it. It's everywhere, right?
Author.
Well, it's not going to say author because the author is speaking.
Suggest Australia.
I think it's this. Yeah. Is the article about Australia? I suppose it is. No, it is. Still, though, I still think it's a good idea. Let's see if we can find Australia. Can anyone find Australia here?
The paragraph alone.
2.
Okay. So it could be here, or it could be here.
Paragraph.
All right.
Australia patients.
And performed in Australia alone.
Yeah. Now, considering we're on question 4, I think where do you think we should read first? It's question 4. Paragraph 1 or paragraph 2?
The two sides of the bank in Australia.
Paragraph 2.
I think it's reasonable to say. Okay. So we use keywords. Microphones off. We found the paragraph. Now we're going to change into a question.
Hello.
Yes. Does someone have a hello? Okay. Microphones off if you don't have a question. Okay, I'll just mute you there. So Sujit, I'm sorry I keep asking you the same question, but can you change this into a question?
No problem.
It's one of the most difficult things, right? So I feel like you can do it. The author suggests that public UC banks in Australia. Yeah.
Public UC bank in Australia. The author suggests what?
The author suggests what? Yeah, okay. Suggests what? Or you could say, what does the author suggest? Yeah, but we'll do this one for now, Sujit. Yeah, the author suggests what about, though, public banks, right? Something like that. The author suggests what about public banks? That's our question, all right? Put like this. Can everyone remember that, please? Because I'm going to remove it. Can you all remember it? The author suggests what about public banks? Yes?
There was an argument between the public and private, which the public is better.
You got a good sense of this now, Sonia. What's the question again, Sonia, though?
Was the author's suggestion about the public bank? Yeah.
What is the author's suggestions about public banks? Okay, we're going to paragraph 2. We're going to read it all, but we're going to be thinking about that question at the same time as reading. So let me ask Mirabella. You have lovely pronunciation. Could you read it for us?
Yeah. The two types of UCB banks in Australia differ in both their scientific rationale and their medical utility.
Stop there. Stop there. What's the question, everyone? What does
the author suggest about the public bank?
What does the author suggest about public banks? Yes, good. Continue, please, Mirabella?
Public UCB banks are altruistic, store donated UCB for public access, and are
Analogous.
analogous to volunteer bone marrow donor registries.
Okay. What does Mirabella? What does altruistic mean? Do you remember?
Not selfish.
Not
Not
selfish.
Thinking
selfish.
about
Selfish.
yourself.
Okay. That makes sense. Public is for everyone. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the state. Okay. What's the question again, everyone? What does? Shout it out.
What does author suggest about
Author suggest about UCB bank.
So maybe the answer is there, but we're going to read a bit more. Okay. So in contrast, Mirabella.
In contrast, private UCB banks will for a free for person or a child UCB for personal or family use.
Okay. What does the author suggest about public banks? Right. You should all be thinking that in your head. Okay, Mirabella.
It should be noted that transplant centers themselves also store directed family UCB donation if a family member is known to have or potentially has a disease that can be treated with transplantation.
Okay, so I'm going to stop because I think I've got the answer, right? So, but I've read a general piece of text. Okay.
Yes.
What does the author suggest about public banks? Can anyone tell me?
Yeah, if if a family member is known to have or potentially has a disease that can be treated with transplantation.
Okay, but that could be private as well, though. What's the author saying about public banks? What is? Are they good?
They are
they bad?
altruistic.
Donations.
They take donations, okay, but what does altruistic mean, guys? Remember I gave you altruistic?
Are not selfish.
Not selfish.
So are they helping everyone?
Yes.
Not thinking about yourself.
So I think the author's suggesting that they're not selfish, public banks.
Yes.
But in contrast, the author is also suggesting that private banks are not. They're not altruistic. They're a bit selfish, maybe.
They are selfish. Or
Something
private
like
are
that.
selfish.
Now I don't know what the answer is here, so we might have to do a reread again. But let's just see if that makes sense. Now, what are we going to do next, guys?
Options.
All right, read the options, and can you draw on my screen? Just select the answer you think is correct. You can also write in the chat box. Tell me if you think it's A, B, or C. All right. A, B, C, or D. Sorry. Just type it into the chat box. You can draw on my screen as well. I know you're thinking now. Now, it's interesting this, isn't it? Provides a satisfactory resource for transplant plans. Is there any, do we know the answer? I don't think we do. What do you guys think?
No.
Altruism doesn't help us, does it? It gives us an idea. An idea of what the author is saying, but it doesn't, the answer is not there. Right? But the answer is not there. So I'll get Joshna on again. Joshna?
Yes, sir.
Are you there? What did we say we're going to do when we're not sure?
We need to go back to the text, sir.
Read again.
Yeah, but before we go back to the text,
Eliminate
we can...
2 options.
Eliminate 2.
Now, we did read it, didn't we? Maybe some of these, can we eliminate one of these? Let's have
Last
a look.
D, I think I can eliminate D.
Require, so public banks require greater support and gifts of money. Why would you eliminate that? It's not really mentioned. Is there anything that is contradicted, guys? Face significant challenges? No. Are in direct competition with transplant centers?
No.
Provide a satisfactory resource for transplants?
Yes.
Maybe. All right. But look, here's a little tip for you guys. Don't eliminate unless what?
Unless I'm sure.
You are sure.
Unless you're sure. How can you be sure?
We have to
with the meaning of
contradict, like we have to see it in the context, like
Yeah, yeah. I'll give you a little tip. This doesn't work all the time, right? Oops. But here's a little tip. If you find the opposite, can you be sure?
No.
I think you can, right? If you find the opposite
Yes.
being
Yes.
said
Yes.
in the text. You can be reasonable, you can be reasonably, not completely, right? Reasonably confident when you eliminate. That's all I can say. Okay, but in this case, I'm not confident, so I'm not going to eliminate. I'm just going to leave that alone, okay? Instead, Joshna, we're going to find key
Words.
Keywords.
Maybe try and find keywords. But do we have a rough idea of what the answer is, or should we just reread the whole thing?
No, read it.
We will reread the whole thing and then.
Because in this case we're not really sure, we're going to go back and
Yes.
reread. Okay.
Yes.
What does the author say about public banks? Let's read it again. This time you don't need to read it out loud. Okay. I'll give you guys. I'll give you 1 minute, but keep this in your mind. All right. This is the technique we're practicing. What does the author say about public blood banks, right? That's the question we've got to keep in our mind. Where is, I'm going to change the size of that. Oh, yeah. Feel free to underline what you think is important. So in this case, we needed to read more. It was my fault. Sorry. I think you're right. We should have continued to read, shouldn't we?
Yeah.
Because it's very often you should read the whole paragraph. Very often it is necessary to read all of it. Okay. What kind of answers do we think are correct here? What do we think, A, B, C? I mean, I can move over, but don't.
We can eliminate
Attract considerable public support. If you go back to.
Okay, let's just try and summarize it in general. We don't have to look here yet. What is it saying about public banks? What does the author suggest?
Attract considerable public support and donation from a broad range of Australians.
Yeah, good. And what does this suggest, Sujith?
It is successful, yeah.
Sujith, what does that mean?
Has been very successful in making.
And they get donations, and they get, as Sonia said, public support. So Sujith, can you summarize this? What does the author suggest about public banks here?
Satisfactory result.
It was very successful and supportive.
They're good, yeah? They're good.
Yeah.
And they're supported by the public. They're satisfactory. All right, now let's go back and think about which thing that could possibly be. Can you all please draw on the screen? What do you think the answer is? A, B, C, or D? Maybe you could eliminate one as well if you...
A.
Yeah.
People are saying A. I think there's one we can definitely eliminate. I think there's one we can definitely eliminate. What can we eliminate? Which one can we eliminate?
C.
Yeah.
No,
No, D. We can eliminate D because it says they require greater.
Gifts of money.
What? It doesn't say that,
Yes.
right? It says it says satisfactory. Okay. It says something like the opposite, almost the opposite. It says almost the opposite. So I'm eliminating D. Drum roll, please, because we're going to finish the class. Can you all type in the chat box? I want to see what all 24 people are saying, please. Into the chat box, please, so I can see the whole class. What do you think? Ushani says A. Victoria says A. Mirabella's got A. Cynthia's got A. Joshua's got A. Matt's got A. Sujith A. Oh, you know, this makes me feel very, very good because the answer is... The answer's B. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. The answer's A. The answer's A. It's just a joke. Just a joke. Of course, it's A. Well done. All right.
Okay. Yeah.
Because
So,
nowhere they have spoken about competition and challenges also.
exactly. So you probably could eliminate more, couldn't you? There's no, yeah.
All
And
is wrong.
we can
This
talk a bit
trigger.
more about elimination in the future. Okay, well done, guys. Fantastic work with that. I'll take a copy of this so you can have it on your study document. Now, obviously, we started later today, so we're just going to do a very short speak.